Hi everyone. Welcome to okay, sorry. All right. I'll start. Hi everyone. Welcome to today's podcast. Joining us today are Princess and Eco to discuss how science and its technology advancements have allowed farmers to address the problem of banana bacterial wilt. Welcome Princess and Eco.
Good afternoon, Robbie, and good afternoon to all the listeners. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Hi everyone. I'm honored to be joining Robbie and Princess today to discuss a really interesting topic in the field of science and technology, more specifically, the topic of genetically modified bananas.
Great. Let's get started. Did you know that the banana industry in 2016 was said to be worth $25 billion?
I can't believe it. Just the other day, I googled a recipe for banana muffins and saw that there are more than 60,000 different recipes that use bananas.
Yes, I remember we went on a trip to Africa a few years back, and I was surprised to learn that bananas are so important in Africa and that they are one of the largest banana producers in the world. Not only does it provide a staple food for them, it also has an important source of cash income as it provides livelihood for millions of farmers.
Oh, that's pretty interesting.
When I was reading up on this topic, I was surprised to learn that some bananas, such as the Cavendish variety, are derived from a single tree source, and it's been that way ever since. So, if a disease or a virus was to infect the banana, almost all the bananas in the world would be at risk of getting infected.
Yes, Robbie. In fact, there is a devastating bacterial disease of bananas in East and Central Africa called banana santomonas wilt. It has caused significant reductions in banana production since its discovery in 1968.
Actually, this bacteria is so severe that it can kill a whole plant within a month of the first appearance of symptoms. What happens is that the bacteria blocks the water conducting species of the plant, meaning water can no longer pass, resulting in severe wilting, crop loss, and eventually death of the entire plant. Whole plantations are commonly affected, causing complete loss of the crop. The bacterium survives well in infected plant materials and moves easily in soil water, making this pest very difficult to manage.
Oh, that's not good. Another challenge the farmers face is the developing varieties with resistance to BXW through conventional breeding methods is poor since no banana genes that are resistant to the bacteria have been identified.
Which is why scientists at the International Institute for Tropical Agriculture, or IITA, in Uganda and Kenya have turned to a transgenic approach. Disease resistance was achieved by transferring two resistance genes from sweet green pepper into bananas, both singly and as stacked traits. These genes have provided disease resistance in other plants, including tobacco, tomato, orchids, calla lily, and rice.
To test this, the scientists then artificially infected the bananas with the Eccampes street bacteria. All non-GM controlled plants died, while the majority of GM lines had a significantly higher resistance, with some showing 100% resistance. Researchers also have identified several other potential genes that could confer resistance to DXW.
Wow, that's fascinating. So, what exactly are the pros and cons of using this approach in this situation?
Well, easily, one of the advantages that these bananas are resistant to the bacteria meaning less crops are destroyed. This provides a consistent source of food and also a consistent source of income for the farmer. More bananas also means more income for the producer country, which will ultimately also boost their economy.
These bananas also have a longer shelf life, again, leading to less spoilage. This means that the bananas can be shipped worldwide with more ease, which is great for consumers because then there are less chances that you'd get overripe or even worse, spoiled bananas at your local market or grocery store.
Yeah, no one likes black mushy bananas. But if there are pros, there are also cons. What are your thoughts on this, Princess and Nico?
On a general note, GMO crops may be genetically different, but they grow and develop the same as usual crops, which means cross pollination is still a major factor for the crop to be able to bear fruit. Now, since bees are involved in cross pollination, they can be exposed to the genetic alterations of the pollen from GMO crops. I don't think that the effects on the bees have been thoroughly researched.
I think they should though, since these are absolutely necessary for our survival. I also read that when spreading seeds onto the land, a few seeds can spread over the neighbor's land as well because of the wind. The organic farms around the GMO crops can get contaminated as well. When there's cross pollination between the farms, we cannot predict what will happen to the both farms.
Along those lines, another thing that I believe is worth looking into is the fact that only 5 companies hold the monopoly in the GMO seed markets. This means that these GMO seeds are financially benefiting these companies. To sustain these revenues, some of the newly developed seeds are copyrighted. This means that farmers continuously have to spend to buy seeds for these companies instead of propagating them on their own. Consecutive, consensually, because these seeds are to be regarded as property of the company. Even if a farmer was unintentionally grow a GMO crop, he may be liable to pay reimbursement to the company.
This practice is actually counterintuitive to the fact that they initially made these GMO bananas to help farmers produce more bananas of better quality. This seems like it's just adding another burden for them financially, don't you think?
True. Plus, region also have effect on consumers. America is heavily dependent on GMO feeds for their livestock. This leads to animals accumulating genetically modified proteins into their system, contaminating the animal-based food products that we get from the market. Traces of GMO components have been found in multiple animal-based products such as milk, eggs, seafood, as well as meat-based products.
So going back to the bananas, I guess we could assume that the proteins from the bananas we ate would possibly find a way into our systems as well. Researchers would definitely need to study whether that they would have any detrimental effects on people.
Absolutely, Eco.
Thanks for having us today, Robbie. To wrap up, I think that when we discussing the pros and cons of GMO foods, there is still a lot that can and will be debated upon. Given that the first FDA approved GMO food product was only released in 1994, we still have a long way to go in terms of studying whether the long-term effects are truly beneficial to mankind.
Absolutely, Eco. I believe that it is also worth noticing that scientific and technological advancement should not come at the cost of the farmer's livelihood or a country's economy and ultimately people's health. Farmers should be allowed to grow GMO plants without fearing lawsuits from major organizations so that they can also benefit from the GMO crops and create more food for people. For consumers have the right to access to food that benefits their health and does not harm them.
Yes, the best way forward, I believe, is to support the continuing research in GMOs and how this technology can be harnessed to benefit producers and consumers on a national and global scale. That's about all the time we have left for today. Thank you again for joining us today. We look forward to